Joining me live in the studio to discuss nation building, the place of followership, is Mr. Toye Sobande, a strategic leadership expert. Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now let's just go straight. It is often said that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. All right, so how huge is the burden placed on leadership?
It's huge in the sense that a leader is expected to have a visionary direction to improve the quality of lives of people he's leading or improve the quality of the organization. And because of the word quality, it indicates progress. You take us from a particular point to a destination. So people benchmark the activities of the leadership in terms of progress, in terms of quality. So when these two indicating factors are present in a leadership responsibility, then people will say that's a good leader or that is good leadership. So where that is missing, that's usually where it becomes a burden for the leader. Leadership in itself is taking responsibility for improving the quality of lives of people. Not only just people, but society. So anyone who takes responsibility is expected to have certain endemic capacity, certain knowledge, certain abilities. And often people think leaders are supernatural humans who have exceptional qualities. They are human as well. They have their weaknesses. But leadership does not happen in vacuum. Leadership is a relationship between a set of people who are in agreement to go towards a direction. And where that relationship exists, there must be agreement. Yeah. And that's where the concept comes in that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Yeah. All right, now, okay, leaders, we know, emerge from followers. One time you must have been a follower before you aspire to become a leader. Yes. Now, and how do we now achieve effective leadership, that can change, the narrative?
The truth of the matter is, to be an effective leader, the person needs to know how to lead himself or herself.
Okay.
You cannot have a leader who does not have vision.
All right.
So what makes an individual a leader is the ability to cast a dream, cast as people's aspirations towards a hope for a progress, hope for a better life. So every person who holds a position does not necessarily is a leader, because it's not position that makes the leader.
Okay.
So
exactly.
Yes, it's not the position, it's not the title. And we say these things among my friends that there's no entitlement in title. So the fact that you have manager to your name, the fact that you have supervisor to your name, the fact that you have one title or the other to your name is not what makes you a leader. It's simply taking responsibility for people, influencing their thoughts and their process, such that they are hopeful towards a better tomorrow, so that they are hopeful towards the fact that there is progress going to be made, where you take the risk on behalf of the people, you chart the path, you provide direction. There you engage your skills, your communication ability, you engage the ability to resolve conflict, you engage people in being able to bring them down to a round table, even though there are disagreements, but you're able to fine-tune the whole thing and bring people together towards a determined cause. And that's actually what makes the leader quite effective, when you're able to carry people along and they support your dreams.
Okay, you said earlier, Toye, if I must get you right, so that leaders must impact the lives of followers. So how do they do this?
The challenge with us is that emphasis is placed on the word leader than leadership.
Okay.
There are two different things. The leader is a personification of someone who has taken responsibility, while leadership in itself is a relationship between the leader and the follower.
Okay.
And followership is not mindless subordination. Followership is when an individual has an agreement with someone who has a visionary direction towards fulfilling an objective. That means I'm in agreement with the leader to achieving this plan, this vision. Or another side to it is that followership looks at it from the angle of relationship. So in that equation is the leader-follower concept. That's what makes leadership. When that is missing, then you don't have leadership. So when people overemphasize on just one person, the leader, they subjugate or they overlook the idea that the person is not going to do the work alone. And every person who occupies a leadership position is working around people. So the quality of the people around will make the leader effective or not. So,
okay. All right. Okay, Toye, let me come in here. Now, we know that leaders, everybody says a leader must do this, a leader must do that. Of course,
Yes.
you must make infrastructure available for
Yes.
your followers to live good lives and all of that. Now, do followers actually know the roles they are to play?
That's our leaders' part of our experience in this part of the world, where we apportion blames. And I don't want to subject you to the fact that it's a cultural issue. Anytime an individual apportions blame to someone else, you have abdicated responsibility. Because the leader is not just the person who holds the position, but every one of us, we have the cause to lead and to follow at every point in time. Our current president used to be a follower at a point in time. Now he's leading us. So because he's been in that position, he understands what it takes being in that position. And that cuts across every other person. So in our part of the world, as long as we blame, or we do this blame gaming and abdicate responsibility, and don't look in between taking responsibility. For example, to be a good patriotic citizen of Nigeria, I'm expected to pay my taxes.
Exactly.
That is a clear indication of followership. When I fail to pay taxes, when I fail to obey the simple laws of the land, I violated the concept of followership. I will make leadership difficult for whoever is my governor or my president. So we all need to take responsibility that it adds up from the little things we do in our homes. The way you talk to your children at home, the way you talk to your wife at home or talk to your husband, when you give respect, when you are honorable, when you show integrity, that is demonstrating leadership and that's demonstrating followership at the same time. Why? Because there's a young child at home who is watching you as a father figure in the house.
Exactly.
When a man is abusive domestically, you have taught the child not to have regard for life, not to have regard for a woman.
So
when you talk to,
in the long run,
when you take that child, that model, if you take that child and take him to a school, he abuses the girls around him because he sees what his father does at home. When you take that child out of the school, you take him to the society, you can take him to the workplace. Now you now put him in a leadership position, and you're wondering how come such leader is abusive. It started from the home. It started from those little things that we do around us. Look at our environment. We say the environment is dirty. The question is, who is making the environment dirty? It's not you and I who use the road.
Yes, that is true. That is true. So how can followers, be instrumental to nation building? In case they don't know, so they know from this.
First of all, we must understand that leadership is more of a burden than a benefit. We need to change our mindset about our perception of those we regard as leaders and stop abdicating responsibility and think the leader is responsible for virtually everything. We need to contribute. Contribute means we need to hold our leaders accountable. Okay. Accountable in a sense that I'm not saying bash at leaders, I'm not saying unnecessarily criticize or condemn people. You don't have all the facts, you don't have the data to make the judgment. But the question is, you promised us this during your campaign. How is this working right now? How can we be of help to some president in one of these countries made mention of the fact that don't think of what your country can do for you, but think of what you can do for your country.
There's so much we can talk about on this national building, and of course the roles the leader, followership plays.
Yeah.
So, but that's the much we can take on Panorama today. Well, thank you, Toye Sobande, for sharing your time with us on Panorama.